The Hamilton and Verstappen championship battle in 2021 has been very thrilling, but also very respectful between the two so far. The media and off-track politics has tried to stir up some drama between the two, but both Max and Lewis were having none of that and have kept a good relationship. Well, you have a feeling that all of that will change now after the 2021 British Grand Prix. An opening lap collision heading into Copse Corner saw Hamilton take out Verstappen and finish his race prematurely. It was a dramatic crash in a very high-speed corner, which saw Verstappen experience a 51G impact into the barriers. The crash was so massive that the race had to be red flagged in order to repair the barriers and clean up the mess left from the RB16B. While Verstappen was taken to the medical center for precautionary checks, the race stewards handed Hamilton a 10-second penalty for causing the collision. In the end, the penalty didn't do much damage to Hamilton's day, as he fought back to overtake Charles Leclerc in the final 3 laps to win his 8th British Grand Prix. But as the celebrations commenced around Silverstone, something just didn't feel right or fair after the incidents of lap 1. Was Hamilton's penalty too lenient, and was his move on Verstappen dangerous? Well, in what is sure to stir up some controversy and debate, let's take a closer look at the crash that defined the outcome of the 2021 British Grand Prix. Before we get into the debate about the penalty, let's look at the crash between Verstappen and Hamilton. As both cars reached turn 9, Verstappen was on the outside, which is the natural racing line for that corner, and slightly ahead of Lewis Hamilton. As they reach the turn-in point to Copse, Hamilton slightly misses the apex as Verstappen is on the outside of him and ends up touching his right rear tire, which sends Max into the barriers. The stewards gave this specific reasoning as to why they determined Hamilton was at fault. Quote, "Car 44 was on a line that did not reach the apex of the corner, with room available to the inside. When car 33 turned into the corner, car 44 did not avoid contact, and the left front of car 44 contacted the right rear of car 33. Car 44 is judged predominantly at fault." The reaction from fans and pundits alike were mixed, but in this case, I think the steward's explanation was correct. You could make an argument that it was a racing incident, but at the end of the day, it was still Hamilton who caused the contact and not Verstappen. Car 33 was slightly ahead and turning into the corner, which in my book leaves the responsibility on car 44 to back out of the move as the attacker. At no point were both cars 100% side by side. If they were, a collision probably would have been avoided. Hamilton ended up causing the contact, which led to his penalty, but the question is, was that penalty too lenient? Despite Toto Wolff's desperate emails to race director Michael Massey, Hamilton was awarded a 10-second penalty and 2 penalty points on his super license. This decision has gotten fans riled up, as even though Hamilton punted the race leader out of the race, he went on to win the British Grand Prix at the end of the day. Something just doesn't feel right or fair about a driver taking another driver out and then going on to collect maximum points. Which begs the question, do instances like that of the British Grand Prix deserve harsher penalties for the driver causing the accident? In this case, Hamilton's penalty was the second most lenient they could have given him, behind a 5-second time penalty. If you take another driver out of a race, even if it is a close racing incident, it should come with a stiff penalty that also hampers your race. No matter which drivers were involved, the racer who causes the accident shouldn't be able to go on and take full points in the same race. Now, what would have been a fair penalty for Hamilton? Certainly a 10-second stop-go penalty would have been a more fair punishment to fit the crime, which would have meant that Hamilton would not have been able to change tires while serving the penalty. If you ask Red Bull's Helmut Marko, who's never shy about sharing his opinion, he's looking for the maximum penalty for Lewis Hamilton. Marco said post-race, quote, "You can't do that with the normal sporting code. I don't know what the maximum penalty would be, but such dangerous and reckless behavior should be punished with a suspension or something." Whether you agree with the penalty or not, Red Bull's extreme frustration is totally understandable. While Hamilton and Mercedes were celebrating with 140,000 of their fans in Silverstone, Red Bull's driver was sitting in a hospital getting checkups after an accident that their main rivals caused. Helmut Marko continued to show his anger post-race by continuing to say, quote, "If a competitor massively touches our rear wheel with his front wheel, then that's no longer a racing accident in the fastest corner of the track. That is negligent to dangerous behavior." So was Hamilton's move on the inside dangerous? There is an argument to be made that it definitely was, considering the type of corner and the fact that it was the opening lap of the race. As we saw in the opening stint of the Grand Prix, Hamilton did not want to be following another car in those hot conditions. His move seemed desperate and hopeful, and eventually it was Max Verstappen who paid the price for it. Being a now 8-time winner at this circuit, I think Hamilton should have known that Turn 9 is a high-speed corner in which committing to the inside while you're behind a car is risky and dangerous. As Christian Horner said, that's not a place to stick a wheel up the inside of a car. This incident is sure to stir up the intensity between Mercedes and Red Bull, and also divide the fans in the F1 world. Everything aside, we really need to be thankful that Verstappen was able to walk away from that 51G impact. The post-crash radio of Verstappen is uncomfortable to listen to and gives you an idea of the intensity of the shunt.
Max, you okay? Fuck.
The latest news on Verstappen is that he is okay and no injuries have been reported. Max has released a statement on social media expressing his disappointment with Hamilton's driving, the penalty, and the post-race celebrations from Mercedes. The end to the 2021 British Grand Prix just left a sour taste in the mouth of many Dutch supporters and neutral F1 fans as well. Although Hamilton equaled the F1 record for most wins at a single circuit, it came off the back of a weak penalty and team orders, all the while the guy he knocked out of the race was on his way to the hospital. The fallout from this race is going to be very interesting to say the least. It took 10 races for Verstappen and Hamilton to have their big dramatic moment, but only time will tell what effect this will have on the 2021 championship. So what did you think of the Verstappen and Hamilton crash, and was the penalty for Hamilton enough? We'd love to hear your comments, so drop them down below in the comments section. Thanks for watching today's video, and if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so.